There is a machine in your home right now that is coating your family's clothes with toxic black mold on every single wash cycle. You paid between $800 and more $500 for it. You trust it with your children's pajamas, your bed sheets, your underwear. And every major manufacturer that sold it to you knew about the contamination problem before the first unit ever shipped. They buried the fix on page 47 of a manual nobody reads, then built a $138 billion cleaning product industry to charge you $15 a month for a powder you can buy for $1 at any dollar store in America. Pull back the rubber seal around your front loader door right now and look inside the fold. What is growing in there has been riding your clean laundry back onto your skin for months. This is the story of the gasket they engineered to fail, the lawsuits they fought to erase, and the $1 solution a billion-dollar industry needs you to never find. Welcome to Lost Skills. This is where we open the vaults they sealed shut. If this knowledge matters to you, subscribe now and ring the bell so you never miss a single vault we crack open. The year was 1997. A European engineering consortium published the first large-scale consumer comparison between horizontal-axis front loaders and the vertical top loaders that had dominated American laundry rooms for half a century. Front loaders used less than 15 gallons per cycle. Traditional top loaders burned through roughly 40. Energy Star ratings were pushing efficiency harder than ever. American manufacturers saw a gold mine. The pitch to consumers was simple. Save water, save electricity, save the planet. By 2005, front loaders had captured over 35% of the American market. By 2010, they were dominant at every major appliance retailer. The global washing machine industry grew into an $82 billion operation, with Samsung, Whirlpool, LG, Haier, and Miele collectively controlling nearly 40% of worldwide sales. But every single manufacturer knew about the flaw from the very first prototype and made a calculated decision to ship it anyway. Every front loader requires a thick rubber door gasket to prevent water from flooding your floor during the spin cycle. That seal must have deep folds and grooves to create a watertight barrier under pressure. And those folds become a perfect moisture trap after every wash. Because water pools inside the channels, the door closes, the rubber stays wet, and it sits warm and dark between loads. Scientific literature confirms mold colonization can begin on damp surfaces within 24 to 48 hours under those exact conditions. Warmth from the hot water cycle, constant moisture from trapped water, organic material from detergent residue and fabric particles, zero air circulation because the door stays sealed. The gasket passed through every engineering review, every quality standard, and every regulatory test before it reached your laundry room. That is not an oversight. That is a decision. According to a Consumer Reports survey, 17% of front-loader owners who noticed something wrong filed a formal complaint about mold and odor. The real number is almost certainly far higher because most people have never once pulled back the rubber fold and looked inside. The organisms found inside machine gaskets read like a biohazard inventory. Aspergillus, which triggers allergic reactions and asthma attacks, especially in children whose lungs are still developing. Cladosporium, one of the most common indoor air contaminants on the planet. And in long-term neglected cases, Stachybotrys chartarum, the toxic black mold that the EPA warns can cause serious lasting health effects with prolonged exposure. These organisms produce biofilm, a slimy matrix that adheres to the gasket, resists casual cleaning, and rebuilds itself within days. They release microbial, volatile, organic compounds directly into the drum with every cycle. And every time you run a load, those spores transfer onto your clothing, your towels, your bedding. Your freshly washed clothes come out of the machine carrying the very contamination you put them in to remove. This video is just the surface of what the appliance industry buried. I collected everything they do not want you to know. The complete elimination protocol, the gasket restoration guide, the appliance deep clean system for every machine in your home, the industry dossier documenting the lawsuits and the internal design decisions that prove manufacturers knew about the gasket flaw before the first machine shipped. Over 10 complete guides in one place. No filler. The link is in the description. But stay here because the vault is just opening. In 2012, a group of consumers in New Jersey filed a class action lawsuit against Samsung Electronics in federal court, known as In Re Samsung Front-Loading Washer Mold Litigation. The allegations were damning. Plaintiffs claimed Samsung designed machines with defects causing mold accumulation and never disclosed the problem at point of sale. They alleged Samsung continued marketing these machines as premium appliances while knowing the gasket would breed mold within weeks. Samsung fought the case aggressively, and the lawsuit was dismissed in 2014. But the complaints never stopped. Thousands reported the identical problem year after year on every review platform. Black mold in the folds, clothes smelling like mildew straight out of the wash. Samsung was not alone. LG, Whirlpool, Bosch, Electrolux, Kenmore, every brand using a rubber door gasket battles the same problem. Because it is not one brand's defect. It is a fundamental flaw baked into the design that the entire industry collectively chose not to fix. If you have made it this far, you already know more about what is living inside your washing machine than 99% of homeowners in this country. Subscribe and share this with someone who needs to see what is growing behind that rubber seal right now. Everything is in the vault. Link is in the description. Stay with me because this next section is the one they worked hardest to suppress. The global washing machine market generates over $82 billion annually. The appliance repair industry in the United States alone produces $7 billion a year. A single technician visit to address mold costs $150 to $250. Gasket replacement adds another $150 to $350. A replacement machine runs $800 to $2,500. Every one of those revenue streams depends on you not knowing that a $1 powder solves the problem at home in under 1 hour. The washing machine cleaner market. Products that exist solely to treat the mold problem manufacturers engineered into their own machines is worth over $1.38 billion globally. A-Fresh, one of the most popular brands, is manufactured by Whirlpool Corporation, the same company that sells the front loaders that grow the mold. Whirlpool builds the machine that creates the problem, then sells you a branded tablet to treat it for $8 to $15 per box. That is not a cleaning product. That is a subscription service built on manufactured ignorance. The active ingredient inside A-Fresh and every competing machine cleaner on the shelf is sodium percarbonate, a white powder made of exactly two things: sodium carbonate, ordinary washing soda, and hydrogen peroxide, the same antiseptic you buy at any pharmacy for cuts. When dissolved in warm water, sodium percarbonate releases active hydrogen peroxide and oxygen that penetrate organic material, break the molecular bond between mold and rubber, and physically lift contamination out of porous surfaces. Hospitals worldwide use hydrogen peroxide as a surface disinfectant because it kills pathogens without toxic residue. The Environmental Working Group rates it a 1 to 2 on their hazard scale, the lowest possible classification, and you can buy a full container of generic sodium percarbonate at any dollar store for $1. Whirlpool repackages this same chemistry, marks it up 800%, and sells it back to the consumer whose machine they designed to need it. That is the entire business model in one sentence. Here is exactly what to do. Do this today. Every wash cycle you run before fixing this is one more round of mold transferring onto your family's clothes. Step 1. Buy generic sodium percarbonate powder at any dollar store. Most commonly sold as OxyClean, but the cheapest version is unbranded. Check the label and confirm sodium percarbonate is the primary active ingredient. Everything else is filler. Step 2. Open your washing machine door and physically pull back the rubber gasket to see inside the folds. What you find will shock you. The amount of black slime and accumulated biofilm hiding in a gasket that has never been cleaned is genuinely disturbing, and the smell will hit you like a wet basement. Step 3. Mix 2 tablespoons of sodium percarbonate with just enough warm water to create a thick paste the consistency of toothpaste. Warm water, not cold. Heat activates the hydrogen peroxide release. Cold water produces a dramatically weaker reaction. Step 4. Put on rubber gloves. Use an old toothbrush and apply the paste directly and firmly into every fold, groove, and channel of the gasket. Pack it in and do not be gentle. The agent needs direct sustained contact with every contaminated surface. Step 5. Let the paste sit undisturbed for a minimum of 2 to 4 hours. This waiting period is not optional. If the mold has been building for years, leave it overnight. Step 6. Return with a damp cloth and wipe everything out of the folds. The paste will have turned the embedded mold into a loose sludge that lifts off the rubber with minimal effort. The rubber underneath will be gray or white again, the original factory color. Step 7. Run one completely empty wash cycle on the hottest setting your machine offers. Add half a cup of sodium percarbonate directly into the drum with no clothes. This treats the drum interior, internal hoses, and every hidden surface the paste could not reach. The water draining from this cycle will come out dark brown or black. That discolored water is visual proof of how much contamination was living inside your machine. For prevention, after every single wash cycle, take 15 seconds to wipe the inside of the gasket folds with a dry cloth. Leave the door fully open between uses, so air circulates and dries the gasket completely. Once a month, run one empty hot cycle with 2 tablespoons of sodium percarbonate. Total monthly cost is pennies. I need to be honest about one limitation. If mold has been growing for years and has penetrated deep into porous rubber, the dark staining may be cosmetically permanent, even after the living mold is completely killed. The gasket is sanitized and safe, but years of growth can leave discoloration that no treatment fully reverses. The mold is dead. The spores are gone. If the staining bothers you, a replacement gasket costs $50 to $80 online, and most homeowners install one themselves in about 20 minutes with basic tools. Compare that to the $250 professional deep clean that accomplishes exactly what you just did for $1. Or the $5,500 new machine a technician recommends when he looks at your gasket and tells you it is too far gone. None of that expense was ever necessary. The powder costs $1. The knowledge costs nothing. They built the machine. They engineered the flaw. They created the cleaning product company. They dismissed the lawsuits. And they counted on you never pulling back the rubber and looking inside. Now you have. Share this with every homeowner you know. Every share preserves what the appliance industry tried to permanently erase from your hands. The next vault opens soon, and what is inside is even heavier than this one.